a stunning new study out of Boston Children's Hospital that found kids can outgrow autism by the age of 6. Dr. Mallika Marshall is here now. And doctor, sort of reassuring news given the startling number of kids on the spectrum.
I know, this is actually quite amazing. So first of all, autism spectrum disorder, which is the umbrella term, is 4 times more common in boys than girls, and it's generally characterized by varying degrees of difficulty with social communication and social interactions, repetitive behaviors, and sensory symptoms. Now, the prevalence of autism continues to rise, and more efforts are being made to diagnose kids early on so they can get prompt treatment. What researchers at Boston Children's Hospital wanted to know is how many toddlers continue to meet the criteria for autism as they get older. Well, they looked at 213 kids who'd been diagnosed with autism at 1 to 3 years of age and reevaluated them at 5 to 7 years of age after receiving some form of intervention. They found that by around age 6, more than a third, almost 40% of the children no longer met the criteria for autism, which is amazing.
All right, so was there anything that set apart the children who outgrew it and those who didn't?
So they noticed a couple of things. They found out that the kids who outgrew their diagnosis were more likely to be girls, or at baseline to have better communication, self-care, and decision-making skills.
Wow. So, and this is a question I have for you. It's important, I'm assuming, that you still have to have the ongoing sort of help, the intervention that you're talking about.
Exactly. So one thing they stress is because the diagnosis may evolve over time and therefore treatment should evolve over time, that kids should be reevaluated throughout this period of development.
All right. And was it the actual treatment itself that sort of made the difference?
So interestingly, all the kids in the study actually received some sort of intervention, but the intensity of that treatment didn't actually seem to affect whether a child would have persistent symptoms or not. So they say it's possible that children who outgrow their autism actually respond better to treatment, but it begs the question, are the treatments currently offered maximally effective for all kids, or do we need some new approaches to help treat children?
All right, so I have a little side question for you. I do a lot of work with schools that treat kids on the spectrum and with autism spectrum disorder. Is it possible that the diagnosis to begin with was wrong and that there wasn't something to outgrow in the first place?
Well, they actually have very strict criteria, so there are measures that specialists use early on to say this child likely has autism or likely does not. So I don't think they make the diagnosis very cavalier. But certainly some kids either have been misdiagnosed or they just get better with time.
This is going to be a story that so many people are looking into, obviously a big issue. Dr. Mallika, thank you so much. As always, if you have a question for Dr. Mallika, you can reach her on Facebook at Dr. Mallika Marshall, or you can send her an email at drmallika@cbs.com.